Welcome back to Entropia. This is Sturge, coming to you with something a little different. I want to discuss investments, deeds, and shares here in the Entropia universe, and an update that came out, was just about a month ago, on September 27th, an update to Ancient Greece shares from Next Island, and how that changes everything, their affordability, and certainly the payout distribution. What I'm talking about is this announcement here by Socrates on September 27th of this year, 2021. The Next Island devs and MindArk have decided to reduce the number of available Ancient Greece shares, which changes the distribution. And you can read this here if you'd like, but the synopsis here is now there are only a limited number of Ancient Greece shares remaining, not this large 750,000 that was originally created. So if we scroll down a bit, Joe asks the question, what does this mean for the remaining shares? So the people who own those shares. And Socrates simply replies, it's an increase of about 80 to 90% increase per share. Isn't that awesome? Now you might be saying, well, Sturge, all those shares haven't sold yet, and anything could happen, and Next Island could back out of this. Ask yourself a very simple question. Why, for the last 7 months, has the community recognition program been going? It's because the Next Island devs want to increase the traffic on their planet. Not to get out, to sell these shares and then cut and run. It's because they're running a business. And when you run a business, you want to make it profitable for yourself, but you also want to make it profitable for your investors. And this is a very, very smart move. It's like a share buyback. So let's look at an example of content, specifically the Arcadia Moon, that isn't being actively updated. It has been a little bit since its inception, but mostly it's just been cosmetic changes and sort of quality of life changes, putting the teleporters closer to each other, arrangements of the buildings, and so on and so forth. And yet every week, or at least every week, I think once the payout threshold of 1 PEC at least is met, then the Arcadia Moon Deeds payout. And you can see here is a bit of a distribution. I own roughly 40 Arcadia Moon Deeds. I guess they're Moon Deeds, not shares. And what we can see here is there's a little bit of a change in the distribution over time, but generally it's 1 PEC per share, and every once in a while you'll see it's 2 PEC per share. And then right here you can see the example in March, because there was no payout from February to April, there's a huge payout of $4.40 per share, or 440 PEC, sorry, per share. But as a general rule, when the threshold is met, the Arcadia Moon Deeds pay out. And there's been a lot of poo-pooing on these deeds saying, well, they're not developing it. Arcadia is not developing these. And yet these continue to pay. And it's because people continue to go there and spend their ped and mine and hunt and do the missions there. Now, if the Arcadia Moon, which isn't being actively developed, is still paying out, what makes you think that Ancient Greece, which is being actively developed, and Next Island is being actively managed and developed, isn't going to pay out? Now that's my argument there. So let's take a look at Crystal Palace. And Crystal Palace shares, which I own 100 of. Here is an area in the Entropia universe that's not actively being developed, and is not, as near as we can tell, being actively managed. Basically, the content is there. People want to go there and farm the various items that the mobs drop, and it makes it attractive. And you can see here that the share payouts are anywhere from 1 to 3 PEC per week, which makes the Crystal Palace shares probably the most attractive investment in the Entropia universe. And if you got in when they were just $1 a piece or 10 PEC a piece, you really did well, because these have increased not only in share value because they're tradable. They're worth about 18 PEC a piece now, so that's $1.80 per share. That's a nice increase. That's a really healthy increase for something, like I said, Crystal Palace, not actively being managed or developed. But obviously that comes from a different place. We're talking about what has changed on Next Island. And I want to look at those shares in comparison to the two examples we have so far. And I won't compare these to Calypso land deeds because I think that would be an unfair comparison. I want to talk about actively managed and developed areas versus those that are not. Calypso is its own entity, and those deeds have been around for a very, very long time. Now let's take a look at Ancient Greece shares. You can see I own 200 of them. I bought them very recently at $1 US per each, and that's 10 ped per each. And here's the sort of the transaction record. They are paying 1 pec per deed per week, so that's on par with Arcadia Moon deeds, roughly. Arcadia Moon deeds, like I said, can pay out as little as 3 to 4 days. The Ancient Greece shares are actually scheduled to pay out once a week. What's important about this is I have started now a transaction record, and I know that Dorki at Dorki TV, bless him, did this for months. He actually took the time to show the deed and share payouts, and I do recommend, if you're interested, going back and watching his videos and seeing what those deed and share payouts were for Ancient Greece. Over time, I don't know that they increased over a pec per deed, but they certainly became regular from not paying out to paying out. So the investment there was this community recognition program that Next Island developers put in place was to get people to the planet. And if you watch Dorki's reports of the deed and share payouts, you see it. You see that it's going from not paying out to regularly paying out every week. And I only have a couple of examples, but I want to hopefully demonstrate that this is increasingly a better and better investment. You can see here there are 273,000 still available at $1 US a piece or 10 ped a piece. And there's still liquidity here. You can sell them. So if you want to sell them for less, great. There's one person here trying to sell 87 of them for a pec less. Good. That means that these shares have a different value to the community. And I think now we can see that more clearly. Let's take a look at the Next Island forums again, specifically the community recognition program. But I want to say one thing about the forums. This is a really polite place to come. This is incredibly well set up, easy to navigate. The new forums are amazing. Got to thank the Next Island devs for fixing these. It's wonderful. So let's look at the reward redemption threads. And what's important here is a quick description from Socrates back in July of what it took to be considered for the community recognition program, and how to go about it, the instructions, and so on and so forth. And then you can see later that there are all of the actual monthly reward redemption threads. If we take a quick look at the results for March, we see that 34 people qualified for the reward in March. That's the beginning. March was the beginning of the community recognition program. And the reason I'm showing you this is so that you can understand how many avatars were actually involved in creating content. This is lore, YouTube videos, Twitch, and events on Next Island during the community recognition program. And so 34 people actually completed. That's amazing, right? But let's take a look at August. Okay, here we have August's results with a picture of what the armor will look like when it's complete. Let's look at the qualifying players, avatars. We have the list here is 47 names. That's pretty impressive. Up from 34. And consider this, all of the months in between, we had at least 30 plus avatars actually contributing content to Next Island, whether, like I said, whether it be videos or Twitch or events. All of these avatars contributed something that has lasting value to the Next Island and Ancient Greece areas. The Planet Partner has taken the time to reward people for their efforts, and thus I think that's why the Ancient Greece shares will go up. By proxy, people are coming to Next Island. And while you're on Next Island, why wouldn't you go to Ancient Greece and do all of the mission change there, specifically like the Gorgon mission and all the epic mission chains that have been added to Ancient Greece? I think it's a winner. So that's why I bought 200 shares of Ancient Greece. Because I think now, based on what I have seen, based on my own personal interaction with the Next Island developers, and specifically Socrates, who thankfully has the tenacity and dedication to honestly make the community recognition program a success. So special shout out to Socrates for incredible amount of hard work. Still working to finish this up. I think we're going to get the September results here today, tomorrow, this week sometime, and I appreciate his efforts tremendously. But I want his efforts to be the demonstration of why I think Next Island, and like I said, by proxy, Ancient Greece is going to get better, and why owning shares of that is a really smart idea. And I want to say, sort of in closing, I didn't just spend the last 7 months making videos just for the armor, because there's been that accusation, that's kind of silly. I worked hard making this content to grow the channel, and I appreciate everyone who's come, watched these videos, clicked like, dislike, made all the comments. Outstanding. Thank you so much. And that tells me that the channel grew, and that the content was something that people wanted. The other thing I learned, though, was how to grow the channel, actually make better videos based on the recommendations and the comments and every aspect of the interactions that I had with people on forums and Discord that said, hey, Sturge, love your content. Could we see this? Or love to see this? And I got better. And that dedication on my part is the same dedication that the Next Island devs have. And with Socrates showing that tenacity and that hard work, I think we're all in the same boat together. And why not create content that people like? Why not bring people to your channel or your planet or whatever business it is you are trying to grow? The Next Island developers want you to come to Next Island and to play there and on Ancient Greece. And they're willing to reward investors for Ancient Greece Next Island by giving them by sweetening the pot if you own shares, as it were. And yeah, you've seen it, and I think we're going to see an increase in value shortly. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we're also going to see all of the content that's on YouTube and available for search on the forums is going to drive more people to Next Island and Ancient Greece over time, because now it's searchable content. And searchable content is discoverable content. And discoverable content drives people to come and play the game in certain places, especially if it's portrayed in a really, really positive light. If it's portrayed negatively, obviously people aren't going to come. But that's the thing about the Next Island forums. It's a very, very positive place. And that's the thing also about Next Island and Ancient Greece. That's not a negative space. And that's contrary to a few avatars who want to make videos and say it's an awful place to be. If that's the way you see it, then you're not playing on the Next Island and Ancient Greece that I'm playing on. Let me wrap it up by saying I think this is a good time to buy Ancient Greece shares at 10 ped per each. And I put my money where my mouth is, and certainly the last 7 months of content that I've created, which is 35 videos, which will, of course, be searchable, and discoverable content on YouTube. And hopefully that will drive traffic down the road. And I think that now that you see what the share payouts are going to be, and the increase in those share payouts makes it an attractive investment. And I'm not just shilling here for Ancient Greece. I'm really saying I believe in it. I bought Crystal Palace shares. I certainly bought Arcadia Moon Deeds. And now I think the Ancient Greece shares are a good value right now. I think in 6 months' time, we're going to see an increase in their value. They're not going to be available at 10 ped anymore. They're going to be more like 11 ped or something like that once they sell out. And it may take a month or 2 to 3 months to sell out to 273,000 shares. But if you're not looking at the increase in potential for payout, that 80 to 90% increase, you may be missing out. Obviously, there's always risk involved. But I think Next Island developers took the risk, and many, many other avatars also took the risk to create content, to create a playable space on Next Island. And hopefully there's a reward beyond the armor. The armor is a really delightful reward. I mean, more in terms of investment reward if you want to be an investor in the Next Island Ancient Greece area. That was my shtick there. Like I said, I put my money where my mouth is and my content is, so hopefully this is informative to you. I don't know that I've seen anyone else talk about that change in the share availability and payout on Next Island, so I thought I'd do a video. Thank you all for watching. This is Sturge, signing off. Ciao.